Pratima from Planet Physiology. Welcome to the Practical Physiology series on clinical examinations of cranial nerves. Today we shall study how to examine 3rd, 4th and 6th cranial nerves. Before we start, let us revise quickly the muscles innervated by these nerves. 3rd cranial nerve is oculomotor nerve and it innervates superior rectus, inferior rectus, medial rectus and inferior oblique muscles of the eye. Apart from these 4 muscles, oculomotor nerve also innervates levator palpebrae superioris, which causes elevation of upper eyelid. Parasympathetic fibers in oculomotor nerve innervate ciliary muscles and sphincter pupillae muscles, and functions of these fibers or ciliary muscles will be studied along with the pupillary reflexes. The link is given here in the iCard for pupillary reflexes and also in the description box below. 4th cranial nerve is trochlear nerve and it innervates superior oblique muscle. So as you can see, this is the superior oblique muscle. 6th cranial nerve is abducens nerve and it innervates lateral rectus muscle. All these nerves and their innervation can be remembered by the mnemonic LR6SO4-3. It means lateral rectus is innervated by 6th nerve, superior oblique by 4th nerve and remaining all the extraocular muscles are innervated by 3rd cranial nerve. Now let us brush up the actions of various extraocular muscles when the eye is in primary position. Primary position means looking straight forward. Contraction of medial rectus muscle causes eyeball to move medially, that is, it causes adduction of the eyeball. So as you can note in the picture, this is the adducted eyeball. Whereas abduction or lateral rotation is brought about by lateral rectus muscle. So when eyeball is moving laterally, it is known as abduction. When contraction of superior rectus muscle causes elevation, adduction and inward rotation of the eye. So these are the actions of superior rectus muscle. The primary action is elevation, but it also causes adduction as well as intorsion of the eyeball. Inferior rectus muscle causes depression, adduction and extorsion. Primary action of inferior rectus is to cause depression. Along with it also causes adduction of the eyeball and extorsion or external rotation of the eyeball. Inferior oblique muscle causes elevation of the eyeball and slight abduction as well as extorsion of the eyeball. Superior oblique muscle causes depression, abduction and intorsion of the eyeball. So these are the various actions of extraocular muscles when the eyeball is in primary position, from primary position to the other position. In day-to-day life, both our eyes move simultaneously to focus the object of interest. This simultaneous movement of both eyes is termed as conjugate movement. During conjugate movements, extraocular muscles work in pairs. As you can note here, turning of eyes towards the left is caused by simultaneous contraction of medial rectus as well as lateral rectus muscle. So eyes have turned to the left side. So for the left eye, it is the contraction of lateral rectus muscle, and for the right eye, it is the contraction of medial rectus muscle. So always medial rectus and lateral rectus work as a single pair. Elevation of the eyes from this particular position is brought about by superior rectus and inferior oblique muscle. So in the left eye, which is in abducted position, elevation is caused by solely superior rectus muscle, whereas in the right eye, which is in adducted position, elevation is brought about by inferior oblique muscle. So inferior oblique and superior rectus work as second pair of the extraocular muscles. In the same way, inferior rectus causes depression if the eye is in abducted position, and superior oblique also causes depression if the eye is in adducted position. So this is the third pair of extraocular muscles. Let us revise these important actions of extraocular muscles during conjugate movement, which will help in understanding the examination of third, fourth and sixth cranial nerves with the simple diagram. Movement of eyes towards the left side is brought about by left lateral rectus and right medial rectus. Elevation from this position is brought about by superior rectus in the left eye and inferior oblique muscle in the right eye, whereas depression is brought about by inferior rectus and superior oblique muscle. When the eyes are turned to the opposite side, the opposite pairs of muscles will work together, where medial rectus of left eye and lateral rectus of the right eye is working now. From this position, right eye will be elevated because of superior rectus and left eye because of inferior oblique, whereas depression of the right eye is brought about by inferior rectus and depression in the left eye is brought about by superior oblique muscle. Now let us study how to examine third, fourth and sixth cranial nerves. First, note if there is presence of any ptosis, squint or nystagmus. Ptosis is drooping of eyelid, and damage to oculomotor nerve can cause paralysis of levator palpebrae superioris and results into ptosis. So here you can note drooping of the eyelid. Squint is also known as strabismus, where visual axis of both the eyes do not correspond and eyes are pointed in different directions, as you can note in this second picture. This is common in case of improper functioning of extraocular muscles. Nystagmus is to and fro jerky movement of eyeballs. Lesions in third, fourth or sixth cranial nerve interfere in the actions of extraocular muscles and may result into nystagmus. While examining third, fourth and sixth cranial nerves, examine the complete range of movement of eyeballs. Then also examine for presence of concomitant squint or strabismus. Pupillary examination also has to be done and light and accommodation reflex should be elicited. So before we proceed, ask the subject to sit comfortably and instruct him to follow your finger with his eyes alone without movement of his head. To avoid head movement, it is better to fix subject's head with your hand. The distance between subject's eyes and your finger should be 1 meter, and we need to check actions of all the extraocular muscles. Ask the subject if he perceives double vision at any point during the examination. We have seen the innervation of third, fourth and sixth cranial nerve, and now we are going to study how to examine these nerves. So first we are going to study how to check the conjugate movements of the eyeball. So here we have subject. Now subject is sitting comfortably. Examiner should stand on the right side of the subject and he should follow the finger movement only with his eyes. He should not move the head. So to take this precaution, we will fix the head of the subject with the help of our left hand and outstretch the hand totally so that the distance between the finger and the subject becomes 1 meter. So this is very important precaution you have to take. The distance between your finger and the subject's eyes should be 1 meter. Okay, so now we will start. We have to follow my finger movement. We are not supposed to move the head. Okay, so look straight at my finger. Now you can note that here we are checking medial rectus and lateral rectus. In the same position, we will move the finger up Now the pair of muscles we are testing is the inferior oblique and superior rectus. Move it down. Now we are checking the next pair, that is the superior oblique and inferior rectus. Come back to the center and check on the other side. Opposite pair of the muscles, that is medial rectus and lateral rectus. Now this is the opposite pair of inferior oblique and superior rectus. Here and go down. It is the superior oblique and inferior rectus. So this is the checking for conjugate eye movements. Now we can examine also the concomitant squint in the subject. Cover your one eye. Look at my finger. Now here the distance between the finger and the subject eye is just 30 cm. Uncover eye and look at my finger. We can note that subject eye, that covered eye is already focused on my finger. So concomitant squint or strabismus is absent. If it is present, after uncovering, the eyeball movement will be done to focus on the fingertip. So this was the first part, examination of third, fourth and sixth cranial nerve, that is the checking of conjugate movements. Next we are going to study visual reflexes or pupillary reflexes. There are two pupillary reflexes. First is the light reflex and another is the accommodation reflex. So first we will study how to examine light reflex. So for this you will need a pen torch or any torch whichever is available with you, you can use that one. Here again the subject is looking straight forward and focusing his gaze at some distant object, and we are going to flash a light in his eye, taking precaution that the direction of the light movement should be from lower part of the cheek then towards the eye. So from ear towards the eye. We should not directly focus the light in the eye. Look straight at some distant point. Observe for pupillary constriction. So we are showing light in the left eye and we are observing pupillary constriction in the left eye. So that is called as direct light reflex. We will repeat the procedure with the right eye. So again we are going from the lower quadrant of the face towards the eye. So we have to observe for pupillary constriction. This is called as direct light reflex. Another light reflex is called as consensual light reflex or indirect light reflex, where there will be a barrier between the two eyes. In this case, we are showing light in one eye and observing pupillary constriction in the other eye. So put your hand like this on your nose. This thumb you put on the nose like this. Okay. Now this hand will prevent light entry into the opposite eye. So now I am showing light in the left eye, but I am observing pupillary constriction in the right eye. Look straight. Now show the light in the right eye and observe the pupillary constriction in the left eye. So this is called as consensual light reflex. The next reflex we are going to study is called as accommodation reflex. A very simple reflex, you don't need any instrument for that. Ask the subject to look at some distant point and look at your finger whenever you say. Okay? You will see at some distant object, and whenever I say, you will see my fingertip. Okay? You have to bring your fingertip close to the eye, say about 30 cm distance. Look at some distant point. Look at my finger. Okay. Again we will repeat the process. Look at some distant point. Look at my finger. So we can note here that there is convergence of the eyeball. Enter your observations in the case sheet in the given proforma and draw proper inference based on your observations. Here are some important viva voce questions asked during this practical. So for this practical, one should know all the muscles innervated by 3rd, 4th and 6th cranial nerves, and actions of various extraocular muscles, and different types of ocular movements, definition of strabismus or squint, definition of diplopia, and based on the knowledge of actions of extraocular muscle, student is also expected to know the effect of damage to the particular nerve supplying the extraocular muscle. And you should know also about ptosis and what is the importance of performing light reflex and accommodation reflex during examination of 3rd, 4th and 6th cranial nerves. So that's all about this session. Thank you. If you enjoy my sessions, press the like button and share it with your friends. If you haven't yet subscribed my channel, press the subscribe button. To get notifications about new releases, press bell icon. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.